Welcome back. Lawmakers issuing a warning over the Biden administration's decision to waive penalties for sanctions related to the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. They say it will increase Moscow's influence on Europe. The $11 billion pipeline is designed to carry Russian natural gas to Germany. Now they'll be able to carry double. Joining me right now is Wisconsin Senator, member of the Senate Homeland Security, Foreign Relations, and Budget Committees, Ron Johnson. Senator, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thanks so much for being here. I'm trying to understand what priorities are in front of the Biden administration right now, because they are waiving sanctions on this company, allowing the gas to flow between Russia and Europe, and yet they are killing the XL pipeline here in America. They are removing a telecom company that is China's ties to the military there. They're removing that from a blacklist and giving that away, and they are about to give away the vaccine IP to China. What is with the Biden administration giving all of these victories to our adversaries, Senator?
Well, Maria, I will never understand the mind of a liberal progressive Marxist. And what we are witnessing right now is the consequences of weakness. I agree with President Reagan when he said you achieve peace through strength. And unfortunately, our adversaries understand the Biden administration is just really pretty much a continuation of the Obama administration, pretty much the same cast of characters, and they exude weakness. I continue to be reminded of what President Obama's Secretary of Defense said about President Biden, that he's been wrong on every major foreign policy and national security issue over the last 4 decades. And I think that was actually predictive as well. So we're seeing weakness, and Biden administration runs to Iran to try and engage them again. Why? Their largest state-sponsored terror. Why would we want to help them? Why would we want to give them even more than the $100 billion that we funneled into them from that disastrous Iranian deal? It's not a coincidence, I don't believe, that all of a sudden Hamas attacks Israel, because they realize the United States is going to be weak and probably try and undermine what Israel is trying to do to defend itself. And I think we're seeing that with the early calls for a ceasefire. Israel has the right to defend itself, and it should defend itself.
Yeah, and it was just about a month and a half ago when the Biden administration sent aid to the Palestinian Authority, and then they started sending rockets into Israel. Now, there are reports that say that there could be a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas as soon as tomorrow. But I'm just trying to understand who is informing and leading these decisions out of the Biden administration, whether it be sending money to our enemies and not supporting Israel, or, like you said, the China-Russia situation as well. So, I mean, what do you think the priority is? Why are they making these decisions, I guess? I don't understand them.
Yeah, nor do I, Maria. We do know, I don't know exactly who's in charge, but we know the most radical elements, whether it's on domestic policy or foreign policy, are firmly in control of the Biden administration, and it ought to concern every American. We are certainly witnessing the cancel culture, but as you've been talking about earlier in your show, there are very strong signs for inflation. I'm afraid there's a witch's brew of ingredients percolating here that could lead to stagflation as well. Inflation is incredibly damaging for seniors, retirees on fixed incomes. You can snuff out a recovery, and this economy just wants to boom. It's already booming, but government is paying people not to work, so factories can't hire people to produce the goods or provide the services we want. Inflation is being sparked by trillions of dollars of deficit spending. We need to get our fiscal house in order, and there's no sign of that in sight.
Yeah, I want to go back to the budget in a second, because the White House is going to release its budget next week. But just to close the loop on foreign affairs, yesterday you tweeted this. This is completely sleazy and represents a counterintelligence risk. Why does the mainstream media refuse to cover Hunter Biden? We warned about these entanglements back in September, and the media ignored it. That's what I'm wondering. Given the fact that we've seen all of this, these wins that the Biden administration is giving China, whether it is taking Xiaomi off of the blacklist, the telecom company that was on the blacklist because it's tied to the Chinese military, It was put on the blacklist under Trump. He just removed it, President Biden did. Or giving away the vaccine, is it because this administration has a conflict? Because Hunter Biden, the president's son, made so much money on Chinese companies working with the CCP?
We don't know, but we do know that Tony Bobulinski, who was involved with the Bidens, said that they were compromised. And that's the concern. I mean, it is a counterintelligence threat, and it's an extortion threat, and you have all these foreign financial entanglements, not only in China, not only in Russia, not only in Ukraine, but now another 13 or 14 different countries, not exactly the most upstanding countries in the world as well. And what do the intelligence services of China or Russia or our adversaries know about other problems that the Bidens might have? So no, this is an enormous risk. It's why Senator Grassley and I issued a report in September so the American voters could evaluate this and maybe put that into their decision in terms of who they voted for. But the media censored it and suppressed it. And so many people went to the polls completely oblivious to those counterintelligence and extortion threats that Biden Inc. represented to America.
Just terrible. We are dancing on some really dangerous stones. That's all I can say. These are dangerous days that we are on. Let me move over to the budget committee that you are on. The White House will release its budget for 2022 next year. What are you expecting as the priorities there? But even before going into that, the next 4 weeks is going to obviously determine the fiscal path. Are they going to be able to get this massive spending and tax increases through reconciliation? Or will you and your colleagues be able to stop this radical agenda?
My guess is if Democrats, they want to spend money, and they will. And so I expect the budget to be heavy toward domestic spending, welfare spending, addicting more Americans and making more Americans dependent on government, which is a long-term problem. We're seeing it right now. The plus up in unemployment benefits is Lawrence Summers, an economist, economic advisor for both Obama and Clinton, said basically when you extend unemployment benefits, you extend unemployment. That's why employers can't hire people to produce the products the American economy is demanding. So many businesses are on allocation right now. So again, the program of the Democrats and the Biden administration is massive deficit spending, massively increasing our debt, massively increasing dependency on government. Maria, that just doesn't work. That's incredibly dangerous for America. It weakens us.
Well, I mean, what about the cost of the disaster that is the border? I was able to get into the Delphi facility when I went to the border a couple of weeks ago, and what I was told was that facility alone was costing $400 million a year just to house people in just this facility. We're talking about upwards of billions when you consider all of the other facilities around. And now the Pentagon is confirming that the Department of Homeland Security wants the military to stay at the U.S.-Mexico border past September 30th. These new figures from the Southwest Land Border Encounter show 453,000 migrants have illegally entered the country between February and April, Senator. I know you saw all of this firsthand. What is it going to end up costing us that we are accepting, 2,000 people a day, 178,000 apprehended in the month of April alone?
Yeah, we're apprehending about 6,000 people a day. 6,000 people a day. We were doing 2,000 a day during the humanitarian crisis in 2014. President Obama declared that humanitarian crisis. We're 3 times that level right now. So the fiscal costs will be in the billions, but the human toll will even be higher. The Biden administration's Vice President Harris is on my committee. They know full well the human depredations. They know that children are being sold, that they're being recycled. They understand that their policies are facilitating a multi-billion-dollar business model of the most evil people on the planet. People are kidnapped, they're beaten, they're being held for ransom, they're being put into sex trade, other involuntary servitude. And they're saying they're doing this all to be more humane. It's a total crock. It's a travesty. And they're ignoring it, as is the mainstream media. What the Biden administration is doing, we had Secretary Mayorkas for our committee last week. He kept using the word, we're becoming more efficient. We're getting past this. We're making progress. No, they're making progress at getting efficient at processing and dispersing illegal immigrants, sometimes without even a notice to appear. They're literally asking them, go voluntarily to an ICE station and turn yourself in to get into the adjudication process that will deny your asylum claim. This is madness. It's fantasy land. It's a crisis of their own making.
Well, that's why they're all coming. They know that they're going to be legal. I was astounded to learn that once you're apprehended, you go through the processing and you're legal until you see a judge, and you might never see a judge. So, of course, hundreds of thousands of people are showing up every month. Senator, good to see you. Thank you, sir. We'll keep watching it. Ron Johnson, we'll be right back.